Right, what's up, everyone? So we're just gonna do a really quick trade recap here of how we ended up missing a 5.5K trading day, uh, all thanks to Tradovate. So we were actually in this trade from literally here, so just going to 1 o'clock, so about half an hour before pre-market. And our essentially our full TP was betting on price rebalancing into the 4 hour, with which was previous sessions low from London or Asia's low, which absolutely got decimated through. But going into New York, Tradovate went offline, and Tradovate is essentially the broker for a lot of these prop firms. The system went offline. They ended up closing us out more or less around break even, and yeah, as you can see, price ended up going all the way down into our TP. So we ended up missing a 1 to 5.69 risk to reward, or 135 pips. But yeah, so let's get into it. Let's get into what the trade was, how we managed to catch it, or would have caught it. But yeah, so we'll put a call out from the Telegram in here, and then we'll get into the trade breakdown. Into why we took the trade. So this is the chart from the start of the week. Obviously, this being CME Open and this being the new week opening gap. And as you can see here, price has been on a really aggressive uptrend up towards all-time high, which is this level here. If I just make that thicker, so this is all-time high here. And as you can see, price has a ton of generated buy stops here, or sell side, that has really been failed to be mitigated or drawn towards. As you know, the algo, obviously, one of the main purposes of the algo is to hunt liquidity and generate new liquidity, and to rebalance equilibrium and price, and obviously draw towards inefficiencies before obviously expanding with its narrative. But essentially, as you can see here, more or less, the long play has been a really free ride to the upside, as both ES and NQ have drawn aggressively to the upside, right? With little to no mitigation of any of this engineered liquidity to the downside. So really and truly, this morning, what we saw was that ES ended up taking all-time high and NQ didn't, which is what ended up making this really high time frame SMT here. If I go on the daily, 1 day, yep. So as you can see here, if I just make that a bit neater, so ES ended up taking all-time high this morning, NQ didn't. So again, that was our first kind of a sign that, well, you know what, price may really be overextended here, and there's no way that longs essentially get this much of a free ride just bidding into all-time high with little to no mitigation. Um, so again, going into it as well, we had, I believe this is 9 consecutive strong 4 hour buy candles to the upside. Again, this was really unhealthy to the upside. Price was just drawing to all of this trendline LRO here, this engineered buy side above, and really and truly just drawing towards all these stops without little to no rebalancing or mitigation of this engineered liquidity to the downside, right? And in that, we ended up making a 4 hour a 4 hour bullish PD array, which also contained Asia's low, which was essentially our one and final TP. So then what did we see going into the session? As we can see here, again, one thing that we really like to stick by, especially because today is FOMC and about an hour and a half for recording this, is when we do see a lot of the big expansion leg through Asia and London, essentially pre-market, when the algo is a lot less liquid, delivery is a lot less slower. New York doesn't tend to be that great, or doesn't tend to present that amazing setups. So we did mention in the Telegram yesterday and today that we weren't going to take anything unless it was really golden, and this to us really did stick out. Obviously, if you know us, you know one of the main things we trade is rebalances. So we ended up taking out this 4 hour here, showing little to no mitigation back into it, expanding higher, failing to take all-time high, and yeah, left behind an unmitigated 4 hour PD array. Yeah, so this is when ES took all-time high. Then if we go here, yep. Then basically this was through Asia. Then going into London, we ended up delivering into this 5 minute and 3 minute, I believe this is as well, distributing higher, failing to take out the current London high from open, and then basically seeing a 5 minute soup of this high here, which was I also believe was a 2 minute soup. So accumulation, manipulation to the downside into a PD array, beautiful. Essentially failed to take out buy side above, which again was showing to us that, right, cool, this is really signifying that the algo does want to shift low time frame order flow and basically reverse on all this sell side below. Great. So then we ended up getting a bearish SMT on the soup as well. Again, if you know us, you know this is now starting to tick a lot of boxes. We also ended up getting a 5 minute IFEG to the downside and a 15 minute CISD. So now we're like, cool, okay, Even if New York does open slightly bullish, we do believe it will just be a Judas swing, potentially to take out all of this. Engineered buy side above, manipulation above the high, and then we would have obviously re-entered to go short again, depending on the entry model we would have got. But market ended up trending lower, and we did end up getting a really decent entry model here, which I believe, so we ended up slamming straight through. If I go down to a lower time frame, sorry. So we ended up slamming straight through the 5-minute IFVG. So for us, well, we knew this was a great setup. And then what we really wanted to see was a bearish retest of this, which we got. So we got a bearish retest, which gave another bearish SMT inside the gap, which we ended up respecting the IFVG. I believe this was a 1-minute inverse fair value gap. Yep. Great 1-minute IFVG. And for us, that was the entry. Also, added confluence here, as we have marked out, was the 5-minute and the 15-minute IFVG, which was this. So obviously proof of that is that. Price ended up slamming straight through it, and this was all before New York opened, so we're like, cool, even if we do see a spike up open, it's just going to be a Judas swing, which is exactly what we got. So we manipulated lower, manipulated higher, ran a bunch of this newly engineered buy side above here. Cool. Hunted liquidity, generated a bunch of new liquidity, and then obviously saw the expansion straight to the downside onto this trend line LRO here, and began to really see its rebalance. Again, another thing from this trade entry was that on the bearish retest here and the failure to soup, I believe we ended up tagging. Yeah, so here we go. So obviously this was London's price leg here. So the bearish retest ended up tagging back into discount of this leg as well, which is a great confluence. And also the failure to mitigate London's high and Asia's high after swooping this low into a PD array, and seriously seeing a strong lack of displacement to the upside to take our buy side above. That was also in OTE as well. So we had failure to displace above OTE, back down, delivery back into discount as price was extremely premium for buyers. So now obviously we came back into discount for shorts and saw a great entry model, which we just spoke about, and then expanded to the downside. That would have been 135 pips or 1 to 5.69 risk to reward that we missed out on. Unfortunately, because Tradovate went offline, we ended up getting stop break even. But yeah, again, really great trade here. Obviously, absolutely clear draw on liquidity with draws as the opposing liquidity pool, and current low of day, which was Asia's low inside the PD array. Price looking for a high time frame rebalance after failing to distribute above the highs, showing soups, showing extreme weakness in trend, and obviously a desire for that algo to shift low time frame order flow after ES took all-time high and NQ didn't. So again, just a quick trade recap here. Beautiful trade we ended up missing. That was a 5.5k P&L we actually ended up missing out on, but it's part of the game. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Again, if you want to join our free Telegram, comment the word join below and we'll send you the link. But yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.
See you in the next episode. Magnus, out.